consultant Natasha Rolls of the MRL Group to discuss how she mixes work and play to create great social content, why video is such a powerful medium, how she once got 5 million views on a TikTok video, and much more. Natasha, welcome to the Social Angle.
Hey, Vinny, thank you. I'm happy to be here and happy to chat with you all.
Absolutely. How are things in South Carolina today?
Well, it's wet right now, but it's been beautiful. We've had some beautiful weather. We had some snow just last month. We get it all here in South Carolina, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy. We have really chilly, raw, like March weather today, and it's been unusually warm. I guess up until the last couple of days, it's been beautiful in the Northeast, and it's probably been beautiful down in South Carolina as well. But it is March. We get these weird stretches of 60, 70-degree days, and all of a sudden we get snow.
Yeah, but the rain is washing away the pollen, which is winning.
Yeah.
That is what we need.
I got a friend who lives in Georgia. I go down every year. I know all about that crazy pollen down there. It's insane.
Yeah, a blanket of yellow covers the cars.
Yep. All right. So, Natasha, before we get started, can you take a minute to introduce yourself, your business, and how you find yourself in the promo industry?
Sure. So I'm a branding consultant with the MRL Group, and I started in this promotional products industry right out of college. I graduated from Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, Georgia, and I had a degree in information technology. And I picked that because I loved computers. Even, back in the 90s, my dad was involved with computers with his job, and they were old school, green screen. But I always had a passion for, figuring them out, and I loved the chat rooms and the social angle, even, when I was in high school. So I ended up taking a focus in marketing and website design with my information technology degree, and that landed me a career with a distributor in Atlanta, and I was managing, I feel like it was one of the first online stores in our industry. It was so basic and simple, but it was a store for Coca-Cola offices to purchase their merchandise and whatnot. And so I was hired just as entry level, load us up some products, type up some fun descriptions, and since you fit into the demographic of some of these brands, help us with some merchandise ideas. And then it evolved into me becoming an account manager and then getting into sales. And so here I am now with my own book of business and a team that helps me manage all of our clients and their projects and events.
Yeah, and I don't know how you've been in the industry for how many years though?
So it's coming up on 20 years.
Okay.
20 years exactly would be in 2 more years. 18 years in.
Okay.
It feels like just yesterday.
I know, doesn't it? I'm 15 years, and from when I started, and started doing social media, I just remember seeing your stuff. I see you online doing some really cool things, and that's kind of why we're here today. I'm going to pick your brain a little bit about what you do on social media. So you're really good at creating content that combines a little bit of work and a little bit of fun. Can you tell us about your approach to creating content and how it's been received?
Yeah, that is our life, a little bit of work and a little bit of fun. And I started in Facebook before it was even available at my university. I can remember, when you had to have specific university email addresses to get on Facebook. It wasn't even available to everyone. And I remember early in my career, as I started to get into sales, LinkedIn was a way I could connect with clients. And I was like, well, that's genius. And so I started building a LinkedIn page maybe 15 years ago. So I just recognized the ability to stay connected, both with your family and friends, which is fun, the fun side of it, and then the work professional side, your colleagues. In our industry, our high school friends and our former employees and even our former bosses can become clients as your journey moves on. So I want to stay connected to everyone that I've met along my journey, and social media has just been a fun way to do it.
Yeah, so you talk about the fun aspect of social media, and I always preach about it too. I'm like, people go to social media to have fun. They go to social media to get away from work. So, if you're posting stuff on social media that is just work specific, and it's people don't want to see that sometimes. They want to go to social media and have fun. But if you can combine what you do, which is the promotional products industry, and have a little bit of fun with it, that's kind of a winning formula. I always say, like, combine a little bit of work and play in your content on social media, and you're going to see results. You're going to get some engagement on social media.
Right, exactly.
So TikTok and LinkedIn seem to be your platforms of choice. What makes these platforms appealing for your needs?
Well, I mentioned LinkedIn was kind of where, after Facebook, I mean, I remember MySpace, and that was where you really created a page for yourself. And then I remember when Facebook took it to be more of the news feed, and where you shared updates. And so then LinkedIn did become more of a networking tool to just stay connected with my network. And I wasn't posting as much then, I was just using it to stay connected. And as I started to understand how video content was killing the algorithms, your video content would be pushed higher in the algorithm and you'd be getting more views if you had video content. TikTok, I guess, came into my life because Gary Vaynerchuk, if you follow him, Gary
Hmm.
V, he was a big proponent of TikTok having the ability as a platform to just like to go viral organically, or to have content that could be blasted out to millions of people. There was no other platform that was able to, I think, connect people, and the engagement levels that the comments had on the different videos. It was just doing what no other platform had done, and they made it really easy because Gary is a fan of you can create one piece of content and you can still share it 10 different ways or 20
Right.
different ways, depending on how creative you are. So he was a big fan of creating the content with TikTok and using it, through that platform. But they made it really easy by saving every video as to its own original native file that then you could upload or just directly share to other platforms. So it was fun. TikTok mixes that music element of letting loose a little bit. And then they're quick and easy. Some of the best TikToks are just 8 to 13 seconds, which for me is perfect.
Right.
Just
Right.
I wanted people to get a little flavor of who I was. And I was learning a little bit about other people too. I mean, I loved going onto TikTok and seeing the celebrities trying to figure it out with us, and
Right.
celebrities doing the same trends that we're doing, and we all just felt connected. So that's kind of how I've really had fun using TikTok to create some of these videos that sometimes do better on LinkedIn or Facebook,
Sure.
which is where
Sure.
my audience is.
So, I mean, you were an early adopter of TikTok. Now, 2 years ago, and I tell this story all the time, I did a podcast, and I said, I was adamant. I said, TikTok will never be right for our industry. And, I was wrong. I'll admit it. I was wrong. Because, 2 years later, ASI now has a presence on TikTok. And you mentioned about creating great content, and TikTok has that powerful studio that you can create really cool. They look like they're heavily produced videos, and they're not. It's just one person creating really cool, interesting videos in their studio, and then being able to take that video that you create in TikTok and push it out onto other networks. They allow that, and that's awesome. And I think that's what the early appeal was for TikTok, because I noticed a lot of people in this industry doing TikTok videos, not because I was on TikTok, because I saw them sharing that content on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. And that's how I started to realize that there's a future for TikTok.
Right. Yeah.
And LinkedIn too. I mean, LinkedIn, you share a lot of your TikToks there too, but you're also very educational too on LinkedIn. You try to provide value. You engage people. So I've noticed that you're very engaged on those two platforms, and I think those two suit you very well.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I give myself a little bit of time every day to just, I like to have LinkedIn open as a tab on my computer so that it's like I'm always in a networking room. And when people can get my story through a short video, I've had a customer say, "Oh my gosh, you're so cool." And I'm like, "Thank you. I know, you might not get that when you're emailing
Right, right,
about a rush project and mock-ups." I mean, it just is another layer that you're learning about the people that you're
right.
interacting with.
And it's kind of disarming too. Like, you see somebody for the first time on video, you've never met them. And you're like, oh, they have a really cool personality. They seem approachable. And I think that's what social content like that allows. People can can feel related. They're like, oh, I can relate to this person. I get this person. I know a little bit about them before I actually meet them. So that's what social media is all about. Connecting. Making those connections and feeling comfortable about approaching somebody. Now, let me ask you about being in front of the camera. You genuinely seem like you are completely comfortable in front of the camera. Was it difficult to create video content at first, or are you just a natural?
Okay, it's always difficult to create content, and like my sister was here last week and watched me struggle on a TikTok that should have taken no time. And I really try to not, I try to not look too much into it. But even going back to when I was a kid, I used to do the oratorical contests, and I don't know if you remember some of those, or I think it was in elementary school. You would be tasked if you wanted to enter the oratorical contest. It was put on by the Optimist Club, and so they would have a title, a speech topic, and then you would write your speech, and you had the chance to perform it in your class, and then from your class you went to the regional and state levels. And so I used to love, preparing a speech with my mom, performing it in front of my class, winning, and trying to go on to some of the, the higher levels. So I've always enjoyed that. And then I'm competitive, like I just said. And
right.
I ran track. I was a cheerleader. So I've kind of got used to performing in front of crowds. And then the sales side of it, I want my sales numbers to be high every month. And so I am looking to do different things that are a little out of the box. So I guess that's kind of where my experience has brought me. I did have some experience as a kid, and then I think naturally I just enjoy sharing with people. I try not to overshare.
Yeah. No.
Try to keep it classy, but I do try to have fun too. A little bit of work and a little bit of fun.
Yeah, I ask this question a lot, especially because of how important video is in the role of social media. And, by including yourself in the narrative of social media, is an important aspect of a business, because people want to see who's behind the scenes, but not everyone's comfortable about getting in front of the camera. And, I'm very, very, I'm in line with that, because I was scared too to get in front of the camera for the first time. But I try to tell everyone, look, if you know what you're talking about, don't feel like you're an imposter because you're not familiar with social media. You know your business, you know what you're doing. Just get in the camera in front of the camera, press that button and go live, or just do a video. You know what you're talking about. You know your business. Don't be afraid to do it. People embrace that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
they embrace.
And you have to practice. The best TikToks and some of the best speeches, even when I was performing those speeches, I had to practice over and over and over again so that it does become more natural, because it's hard to be natural. Even the ones that might be natural at it have probably just practiced and done it a ton of times. Sure. It's like that with any sport. And I can remember Marcus Lemonis. He spoke at an ASI event. I want to say it was 5 or 6 years ago.
Yep.
And his whole topic was on vulnerability as a business strategy. And when you open up and show some of your vulnerabilities and share your story and let people have like a glimpse into who you are, you do connect with people on a different level. So your little quirks, that you might give yourself a hard time on, is what is totally relatable to your customer or colleague or, whoever your audience might be.
100%. The ums and the uhs and the you knows are all part of normal conversation, and we talk about this all the time. Don't try to edit yourself. Like, this is your normal conversation tone and your style. Don't worry about that. Everyone else does the same thing. Like, we don't worry about that stuff. When I create a podcast on the back end in post production, I don't cut out any of that stuff. That's all the good stuff. That's normal conversation.
Yep.
So we have a few comments coming in here. So Brandon Pikarich, he writes, Natasha Tobias Rawls is awesome. Amazing content in person. Well done.
Thank you.
So Embroidery Authority, they have a question. What is an example of something out of the box?
Well, one thing that TikTok makes it easy is by doing those trends. You see what kind of comes through in a trend on TikTok, which is either a song or a dance or a trying to think, like just a not a move, but some kind of thought
Right.
process. And so then you're constantly being fed ideas through TikTok, or TikTok for me especially is always giving me some ideas on things that I can do that are outside of the box, or maybe more conservative or traditional.
Hmm.
So just sometimes when people first get onto TikTok, it takes a while for even your feed to show you things that are maybe of interest to you. It's
Right.
an evolving platform. I mean, some people can get a little weirded out by TikTok too, because the reason it is so um, wonderful, I'll say, is because it pays attention to what you're speaking about, what you're clicking on, and I'll have a conversation in the daytime and I'll see TikToks about that same content at night. It might answer my own question. Like,
Right.
it's kind of crazy how the algorithms and things work. But for me, I can get a lot of out of the box ideas by just following what the youngsters or even the people my age on TikTok, what trends are coming through.
Yeah. You know what? TikTok, probably more than any other social media platform, really keeps you up to date on what's trending, because you have the For You page and it provides you all the really trending topics. And it's funny because I will see what's going on, because you'll see these effects that people are using, the trending effects. And then all of a sudden you start to see people in the industry. And I think of somebody out off the top of my head, Javi Melendez. He does this too. You do it, obviously. But when you jump on a trend that is hot, in the grand scheme of things, and you bring it down to the promotional products level, you are going to kind of set the bar then, because that's a possible trend that you may end up on somebody else's For You page, and then all of a sudden you're starting to get a lot of um, views, a lot of likes, and you're going to start to go viral. And we'll talk about virality in a second. Now I want to ask you about this hashtag that you've been using for the longest time that I've been following you. It's called hashtag I Spy Swag. You've been using it in your posts since, I don't even know when you got on social media, probably before I got on. And when you aggregate I Spy Swag, you get just a reservoir of content that has really cool swag in it. Can you give us a little background on the hashtag? Were you the first one to use it? And why do you think it's useful for our industry?
Sure. So hashtags in and of themselves, and this comes from my IT background, I understand how hashtags work in the algorithms. And so, there's tips about trying to use 3 to 5, more or less. I think Instagram, you can get away with more hashtags, but those hashtags, they call them breadcrumbs that can lead your audience or anyone right to you. So anytime you use a hashtag, I love to use branding and marketing, some of the
Hmm.
general ones. Anyone who's looking for branding and marketing ideas or following that hashtag, on Twitter, you can follow hashtags. I think on LinkedIn, you can follow
Yep.
hashtags and topics. So if there's millions of people following the marketing, hashtag marketing or
Sure.
hashtag, I mean, I guess I'm going off course, but I understand how important hashtags are. And then
Right.
I also remember, it's important to have a hashtag unique to you if you want to leave breadcrumbs to all of your
Sure.
content. So I remember when I started using I Spy Swag, and I did want to make a game out of it. I like the I Spy game because there's so much swag and branded merchandise on social media. People love to share their welcome kit
Right.
or share whatever swag they might have gotten or wherever their event. It's sometimes people say it's not unofficial. I haven't really got the job until I got the swag bag. And I
Right.
thought
Right.
that was super cool. So whether it was something that I shared, a swag bag or a piece of swag or merchandise that I created, or if I just saw it that someone else shared, I'd be like,
Sure.
hey, I love it. I Spy Swag.
Right.
And
Right.
I do think that it caught on with, some of you guys who are also on social media. And I love when other people use it. And sometimes I see random people using it, not related to branded
Sure.
merchandise. So it's fun. It's
No, and I think it's a great way for people to get ideas. And I'll click on the I Spy Swag um, hashtag, whether I'm in LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, and I'll go through and I'm like, oh, there's some really cool merch out there. And I look at, like, not only are you doing that, but if the end user does it, they click on, or they tag something I Spy Swag, that, there's more content for the funnel for you to say, oh, look at this. Like, there are some really cool, ideas out there. So I love that you're still using it. I follow it. I make sure I take a look at it every once in a while to see what's going on. Most of the people who are posting are, it's you and people in the industry, but every once in a while you get something new and different, and it's like that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Well, my family knows I use it too. So, and my colleagues know it. So sometimes they'll be like, "I spy swag, Natasha, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." But
There
it
you
is.
go.
It's a fun, when it's useful, and it's a reminder to all of us just how visible
Right.
swag and merchandise is online because you see it everywhere.
Yep, and people will go to social media to show off swag that they get. That's that's the benefit, I think, of a huge benefit of social media is people, if they love something, they're going to go to social media and show it off. Now we have another comment, and this is a really good one. Question from Lindsay Bonds: do you use your personal LinkedIn to share content or a business page? This is a really good question, and we can both answer it. What are your thoughts?
It is a good question. So I only have a personal LinkedIn page. I created a business Facebook page and a personal Facebook page, but I ended up getting rid of my business Facebook page and just keeping my personal. That's something that we all kind of not maybe struggle with, but just trying to figure out what's best because it is my personal brand, Natasha, that I want my clients, to buy from me, but I'm also, powered by and working with a company as well. But and even on TikTok, I only use a personal page.
Hmm.
So when I share content to LinkedIn, that's typically my more professional content, which
Right.
still might be a little bit of a dance
Yeah.
move. And so I have chosen to only use personal pages, keep it, classy.
Right.
And I do overlap some of my work. And I try not to overwhelm my personal, people with work stuff. And I just give a little glimpse of what I do.
Right.
So.
And look, there's an evolution that's going on in not only this industry, a lot of industries that people are starting to abandon the pages, or not, maybe not abandon the page that they work for, but they're creating their own personal pages, and they're doing really good things with a personal page that kind of represents who they are and the brand that they represent. So I think of you. I think of Brittany Gotzi for Gold Bond. There are people in this industry who are doing some really great things on personal accounts for their business. Like, it's tough with a page. Like, the page is the brand. It's a little flatter. The personality, you got to think about what does this company represent. It's not just Natasha. It's not just Vinny. It's more than that. If you're somebody who is willing to do social media and spend a lot of time doing it, I would recommend you create a personal account for whatever business and whatever platform that you're on, and you can do social media. Like, follow what Natasha's doing. Follow what Brittany is doing on Instagram. Brittany Gotzi. These are people who are really having success with personal pages for their business.
Right. And, I support my company's page. So I share content from our company. The MRL group has its own, account with each of those
Hmm.
platforms. So then it's to each his own. There's always different ways to do it, but I have found most success and just keeping sanity to
Right.
keep my personal pages on each platform just sprinkled with a little work
Sure.
stuff.
And you can mix, you work and play, and you can do that with your business page too. But, when you have a personal account that represents both your personality and your business, to me, I feel like mix it up. It doesn't have to be all business, doesn't have to be all play, when you can kind of
Yeah.
strike that balance, show off your family if you're comfortable with that, but also show off what you do, promotional products, that said, that you're going to be more approachable. People are going to reach out to you through the DMs, or they're more likely to reach out to you through the DMs, through
Hmm.
those accounts. Now, I got to ask you, what are your goals for creating social media, and have you been able to trace anything back to a sale? Because bottom line here, people want to know, can I make sales with social media?
Yeah. So I guess with LinkedIn, I'm bringing in new clients and new projects and new opportunities every day. I have goals weekly and monthly and annually of how many new clients I want to bring in, new leads, which leads are converted to projects. Um, I have not. I have had people on TikTok, send me DMs like, "Hey, I like what you do. Can you send me an email?" Not a lot. And I recognize that, maybe a lot of my content just isn't making it into the right hands on TikTok. And so
Sure.
that's why, again, I create content on TikTok, but then I share it over to the platform where my peeps are at.
Sure.
And with LinkedIn, it is my number one social media site to generate new business. I don't have to have even someone's phone or email address, but if there's a contact or a buyer that I'm trying to go after, and I don't, now they might know, but I'll engage with them on their
Right.
content. I know how important it is.
Sure.
I want likes and comments, and I want to know that my content is either helping someone or making them laugh, or ultimately, I want to get the call that says, "Oh my gosh,
Sure.
Natasha, I definitely need to get 1,000 of those tumblers you just had in that video." But it doesn't always happen quite like that. But it definitely has made some of my current clients, I think, just feel a little more comfortable with me. They'll see some ideas that I share and say, "Hey, I like that mug that you had in that video," or just staying top of mind. I know that on days where I post a video, I'll have a few clients email me after I've been trying to follow up with them. And, I don't always know what brings them back to me, but I know that every week I've put content out so that those breadcrumbs are there. I might have posted a video on a Monday, but they saw it on a Wednesday and
Sure.
finally got around to ordering it,
Right.
the next week. But
I like that you mentioned staying top of mind, and that's what social media can do. Tracing sales to social media is hard. It's hard to know where somebody actually got into the funnel. It's like, but social media being top of mind, people seeing you every day, becoming familiar with who you are, what you do, is going to work in your benefit. Having no presence, not being out there, is going to hurt you as much as it's going to help you. Like, to me, I always say, have a presence. You have, and go on there, even if you don't know what you're doing, have a presence and be visible.
right.
Do videos, do something. Stay
And
top of mind.
engaging.
Right.
Even my colleagues who may not post as many videos or as much content as I do, when they comment or engage with me in my posts, their clients see it.
Right.
So I had a coworker who was like, "Hey, I got an order for some kits because I left a comment on a cool
Oh,
kit that
wow.
you did." And I'm like, that's exactly what I want. So just as important as creating the content is, if you've got something valuable
Sure.
or fun to add to the world, engaging with content is right. I mean, how
Right.
does it go? Content is king, is engagement queen. Is that how it works? It's important.
You can coin that phrase today. I like it.
I think somebody already has.
Right. But yeah, I mean, engagement. I totally, like, if you just keep posting without engaging, you're missing an opportunity. But I always say, like, you have to have the time to do that. Like, if you don't have the time to invest in social media, then it's tough. Like, I would recommend you not be on social media than to create a presence and be inactive. So we have a few more comments here. Stephanie Rivera writes, she loves I Spy Swag. I think everybody does. And if they didn't know about it before, they know about it now, and they're going to follow it. And Brandon says, regarding personal versus business page, smart. People want to know you. They buy from people they know, like, and trust. Boom.
Yeah.
And Brandon also puts your information in there. Your Natasha 80s baby on TikTok.
Yeah.
Absolutely go there and check out Natasha. Now, a couple more questions. So you're big on promo trends. I see you posting content all the time about trends. Can you tell us some trends that you're seeing now?
One of my favorite trends is probably been evolving since I started in the industry. I guess there's micro trends and macro trends, but I think that the attention to some earth-friendly, e-conscious products made from natural and renewable resources. I can remember 10 and 20 years ago, there wasn't a lot. It kind of looked not classy, not sleek, not modern, but I keep seeing so many beautiful house goods, office goods, drinkware, portfolios, all made with these just beautiful natural, bamboo, cork materials. I love it. I feel like this past year or two, we've really taken this, I guess, a step up in the design aspect of using these materials to create some good looking products so that people don't feel like they're just not, I don't want to say cheap, but they just didn't have that quality look as years passed.
Right.
And then I love the trends towards gifting products that kind of make you feel a little bit more nostalgic, or that get you out playing with games, playing with your family. We've all done Bluetooth chargers. I mean, I have clients who say, do not show me another power bank, another USB drive. Like, I know you've got new ones, but I need something different. And that's
Sure.
where Zen gardens and succulent plants, any product that ties into your senses has always been smart. And so products that have a sound or that have a smell or that promote well-being or that get you active. And there's just more and more of them as we all, with COVID, started to work from home and live at home and cook more at home. It was kind of cool to see our whole industry shift towards more products that benefited our wellness, benefited the earth. So those are just, I mean, they're not new trends, but I feel like we're just continuing to improve each year.
That's great. So we have another question from Lindsay Bonds, and this is a loaded question. She writes, how often do you think you should post on each platform? Now, I could take a stab at this real quick. Lindsay, it depends on how much time you have to devote for social media. And I feel like, we've gone over this question a couple times in live streams, and, try to be consistent, however much time you have. Say you have 15 minutes every day to devote to one platform. I would say, try to post one time a day. Try to post it at the same time. Be consistent. And if you have a lot more time than that, do multiple posts. But be consistent. I love the idea of consistency, and so do users. They know when to expect you to post. So to me, I feel like, it's a loaded question. It's very relative to what your goals are and how much time you have. So, Natasha, you want to take a shot at that?
Yeah. So I tend to post when I'm inspired, and that has seemed to work well for me. We get tons of emails from our suppliers and from all directions. And so if I see and there's news, there's content, there's tons of things out there in this world that we consume. So it really 2 to 3 times a day. If you skip a day, it's cool. Every day is great. But, if you don't have anything, if you're not inspired, if nothing quite, you don't have to force it. It's nice to have a folder that just has some cool ideas, throughout the week maybe. And sometimes it's just a quote that motivates you, and that's easy to share. And sometimes I have no new content to share, but there is a cool quote. And I'm not going to post quotes every day, 3 times a day, but once a week I'll do a quote. Another time I might share an article, and another time it might be some color theory. I love color theory and how purples and oranges and different colors play into branding and marketing. And so I feel like if you mix it up with something about your life, maybe a cool product that you just saw, something you're working on, there's plenty of things that you could post a little bit once or twice every day and keep relevant, but don't force it. And then I've seen some of the best social media managers. I mean, there are companies where this is all they do. They'll prepare an entire month's worth of content in one afternoon.
Sure.
And, I'm struggling to post. Let's say I'm struggling to post once a month myself because life is crazy. But then you've got these professionals who what they do is social media content creation and posting. They'll map out a month or 2 in one day and have everything scheduled to where they have just finished everything they need to do for your whole social media calendar. And there's ways to be efficient with it. I'm not that efficient right now. I'm currently just posting as I'm inspired and trying to stay relevant.
I think that's good advice for small business owners, which, there makes up a lot of this industry. It's like, look at how much time you have to devote. And I always say, don't be on too many networks. If you're spreading yourself too thin, choose one network that, your customers are, that you're familiar with, and then work from there. If you can post there a couple times a day, and then you can add another network, do that, kind of start small and then work your way up. So Natasha, a couple more questions I have to ask you about this one. You once had a TikTok that got over 5 million views. Can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, that was, I wasn't even in the TikTok. And my daughter always she reminds me, she's like, you weren't even in that TikTok. But, okay, it was 2020 PPAI. And I was taking video content of cool products that caught my eye. And while I was sitting on the plane, we've all done it. You sit on the plane, you're waiting for the flight to take off. I looked at some of the videos that I took, and with TikTok, it recommends sounds or
Right,
audio
right,
clips based on like what it sees in the
right.
video you've just uploaded. So I'm always trusting TikTok knows a little bit about what the video. They can even sync it to where
Sure.
the beep hits on a certain point of whatever is happening in the video. It's so cool. Anyway, I picked a video that was trending with that song and that clip, and I posted it. And by the time I landed, it had 600 views or likes, and I'd never
Wow.
had anything that had 600 likes before. I'm happy to
Right.
get 20, 30, 50 likes. And I was like, dang. And I saw how it hit 10,000 views, and I'd never had anything hit that
Wow.
amount. And just over the course of a couple of hours, I went from 10,000 views to 50,000 views to 100,000 views. And I mean, it was thrilling when your phone is blowing up.
Right,
Like,
right.
you're seeing and you're getting new followers by the second and comments. And that particular video, I think the reason why it went viral, it was showing a suction
Right.
coaster that when you put it on a table, if the table wobbles, the coaster's not going to fall off. Well, I got a ton of trolls in the comments, the engagement. I
I
love
read
a
'em,
troll.
yeah.
I want trolls to comment on my
Yep.
stuff because it helps. And they were all like, well, nobody has a table that goes
Right,
like that.
right,
And,
right.
1,000 other people liked that comment. And that's what kept me visible. And then apparently, I think I started to reach an international market when some German folks were like, man, we need that koozie in our car. I don't know. You could see how it started
Yeah.
to take off. And I think the music that I actually ended up syncing to might have been an international song as well.
Oh, wow.
It
Okay.
was an international audience and the trolls who thought the product was stupid that,
So,
took it off.
so bottom line is you have no idea how it went viral, and
Yeah.
that's exactly the ingredients of virality. There is no ingredients to virality. It's
But
all luck.
But I had I Spy swag in that post, and
Oh,
it
okay.
got 5 million views, and so that was cool for me
Yeah,
to
yeah.
to know that I had a post that used a hashtag that went viral.
Right.
And I've had other some videos that have gone viral just from a throwback song. I feel like on TikTok when I have songs and music that I like, and my video with anyone else who likes that song, it'll put it in front of them, and so you
Sure.
can kind of sync up with your people who love the same music as you do, and it's been fun. I like to
Right.
say I'm bringing some of the throwback songs to TikTok to mix up, some of the new songs that
Right.
trend on there too.
And that's a perfect segue to our final question. I always end the podcast with a fun question. It's obvious from your social game that you love to dance. What kinds of music and artists make you want to move your feet?
Okay, I have listened to all types of music my whole life, and I mean, as a kid, country, and in high school, I got into like alternative and sublime and different, So my playlist currently has everyone from like Reba to Sublime to Tupac to TikTok songs. Like I hear a TikTok song and I'll download it. I just love rap, reggae, alternative, all of it. Anything with a good beat and some good vibes. My favorite, I think, is reggae. I really just love those. With all the stress of life going
Right.
on, I can put some reggae. I love Stick Figure, if anyone knows them. I can put their music on and just relax.
That's great. Now, again, Natasha Rolls, if you want to find her on TikTok, what is your handle again?
So it's at Natasha 80s Baby. I'm an 80s kid, 80s baby. And then Natasha Rawls or Natasha Tobias Rawls on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect with everyone. I love engaging in your content. I try to find everybody in our industry on TikTok to make sure that I'm connected with them. I want, likes and comments, and I try to pass that out to everyone else. I try to engage with people because I know, it helps us all.
Dudley George says, try soca music too.
Okay. I know,
So,
yeah.
So
I've heard
you're
some of
getting some
that.
recommendations here as well. Well, Natasha, thank you so much for your time today. This has been a really great conversation. I hope everyone, is open to the power of TikTok. I sure am. I was convinced, because I was pretty sure I was unconvincible 2 years ago that TikTok was never going to be right for our industry. But for sure, you've won me over. Javi won me over. Jeremy Picker won me over. Meg Herbert, like these people were doing really good things on TikTok, and I started to see the power. And once I got into TikTok, like you mentioned earlier, to be able to create great content simply because you can really create some cool stuff in a short amount of time, and then be able to share it in the networks that you know your audience is in. That to me, I think makes TikTok really worth it.
Exactly. Well,
All right.
great. I'm glad. It's always fun to share ideas. I love to do it, and I'm always looking for ideas and suggestions too. So y'all connect with me.
All right. You got a parting shot, parting word for the audience?
I don't know.
Like,
Just have fun with it. Try to have fun. Try to laugh. Don't be too hard on yourself, and don't be too hard on others, because it does take a lot to put yourself out there. But just have fun with everything.
I agree. All right, Natasha, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on the